64 says, the closer you come to Jesus, the more faulty you will appear in your own eyes, for your vision will be clearer and your imperfections will be seen in broad and distinct contrast to his perfect nature. No wonder Paul can say that, chief of sinners, I am. Of all the sinners, he sees himself as the worst. Not because Paul killed and everything else, but the more closer he has come to Christ, the more clearer he sees himself. And how do you call that wisdom? Like, how is that even wise, Becky? That, you know, the way sometimes you've done something wrong, like as a child, you may lambast carry, then you are hiding, but your mom can actually see a particle of sugar on your lips, and she's asking you are hiding, you don't want to be seen, but it can be seen that, you know what, I'm a lambast carry. That is how it feels like when you go to Christ, that when you have a relationship with Christ, it's going to reveal the things that you do not want to deal with. Talk to someone like that. I don't want to deal with this thing, so I'd rather stay in this safe place.
Thank you. The more we study the book of Ephesians, the more we realize that it's true what they say, that God is love. Because you look at Paul and you had earlier queried and asked yourself, did Paul own the gospel? And I feel like sometimes we get to that point where someone is so zealous for the word that we make the gospel theirs. You know, you see, that lesson for Rumona.
Prophecy
for Brian. You see, Bible study for Janet. That it's theirs. But I want to, as we're looking at Paul and we're asking ourselves, is it his gospel? Did he own it? What made him stand out? What was the difference? And I think it's because we are just afraid to take God at his word and to hold on to that which God has given us. We love taking the safer way out. Picture this. Jesus says that you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in Judea, in Samaria, to the uttermost of the earth. He did not say to the Jews in Jerusalem. Jerusalem was a city. In fact, at the time of the resurrection of Christ and even the ascension, there was a feast of the Feast of Weeks that had just taken place, and it drew many people. We can even see the Ethiopian eunuch was there. But because the hoarding effect of the gospel, even the disciples of Jesus took that commission to mean the Jews in Jerusalem, the Jews in Judea, the Jews in Samaria, and that's what we by and large have picked, that we would go to the Adventists in prison, the Adventists in school. We have Adventists in hospital.
Wow.
You know, we have very safe ministries. Even when we go to campuses, we go to the Adventists in campus. When I go to minister in another church, it's already a congregation of Adventists. Paul took that route of going to the street to look for people who had never known Christ, people who had a bias, who knew they don't belong. Like, we've never as much as have heard about that Christ.
Sees you are a Gentile. He makes you his mission.
Yes, that's what he did. That now, you see, every time in a matatu and then those preachers rise up and you're incensed at them, it's just your cue that you should have been the one who rose. For me, that usually rings. That it's me who should have reason to tell people my truth if I'm uncomfortable listening to their truth. And Paul is revealing to us and telling us that he took his job description seriously. So Ephesians 3 verse 10 says, to the intent that now the manifold wisdom of God might be made known by the church to the principalities and powers in the heavenly places. So Jesus prays and says, I pray that they all may be one, just as you and I are in one. That through by them being one, they will know that you have sent me. The greatest argument in favor of the divinity of Christianity is a unified church, a unified Christian body, because Christ only made us one. And Paul is trying to say that in our unity, God's wisdom is revealed to the principalities. Like when Satan looks at Newlife Church, the unity we exude, not only amongst ourselves, but even with the strangers who have joined us to worship the Lord of the Sabbath. Satan and his evil angels will look down from heaven and say, "Weh, God is wise." And that's why Paul is now saying the church is to be the revealer of God's wisdom. That without the Ephesian Gentile believers being numbered among the church of God, the church was still incomplete. The wisdom of God was not revealed in its entirety. And that just goes to show us what we are saying. We can no longer continue holding our faith in bookshelves and vegetarian meals. We can't.
And the health message.
Yes, we can't. It's most unfortunate that we should study such a profound lesson and still go about being careful, ministering to the Adventist in prison, Adventist in school, Adventist in church. I think this is just a call for us to rise out of our comfort zone. Paul did not own the gospel. He just knew his JD and he was keen on fulfilling it. So regardless of what you think of your situation, you feel like you have fallen, it is for your sake that Christ died. It is you, by joining the fold, that the wisdom of God is going to be revealed, that even the principalities will know. There was no peace in the pen until the one sheep that was lost was brought back.
Amen.
That is how it ought to be.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Paul took his job seriously. Do you know even your JD when it comes to Christianity? Let's start from there. Are you taking it seriously? When you say I will go, how are you going? Where are you going? To who? Are you just safe within the comfort zones of your Brian is my friend as Seventh Adventist, so I'll remind Brian by the 8th is Sabbath, so keep the Sabbath day holy. Are you just so safe, or are you going everywhere without even, your mission is one, preach the gospel. The commission is one,